A ship is safest in a harbor, but that is not what it is meant for. Hello, my name is Satyadeep Gupta, a marine engineer turned mountaineer. I've sailed across the deepest oceans and I've climbed the highest mountains. And during this journey, I've realized one thing. During this journey from oceans to mountains, I realized one thing, that the oceans or the mountains I had climbed, were not made of water or ice. Rather, they were made of fear, self-doubt, and some impossible decisions. And today, I will take you through a few moments of my life where I had to break multiple barriers. Let's rewind 2 decades back, year 2002. I am fresh out of my 12th class, and like any other 17-year-old, I pretty boldly tell my friends and family that I will clear IIT. The response was very quick, and as expected, nobody has done it our school. No one has cleared it from our town. And I'm not even a school topper or, those toppers. But deep inside something, I was not very convinced. My logic was at that time, if other humans are doing it, I surely can. So I decided to pursue. I decided to pursue it with full force. I shifted my base to Delhi, joined a coaching center, and I started working hard. Now, the more hard work I put in, the more I realized that I needed more. Because the competition was serious. And I kept pushing. It came to a point where I was studying 15, 16 hours a day. The only thing other than studying and eating I was doing is calling my mom from a phone booth. That's it. And it went on for 1 year. 1 year passed by, and I cleared the exam. The feeling when I cleared was more of a relief. It was, I'll never study again in my life. But you see, what I didn't realize back then was that day or that year, I flipped a switch in my mind. That if I want something very badly and I put my heart and soul in it, I practically can achieve anything. I didn't realize it back then, but now I do. I joined my college. 4 years I spent enjoying playing computer games. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I passed out in 2007 and I joined Merchant Navy. Now suddenly life changed. Things were very different and very good. In Merchant Navy, I was seeing the world, enjoying, decent salary, stable, got married, 2 kids, life is set. But deep inside still, I was not very convinced. There was something that was not yet settled down. In the process, I also joined trekking as a hobby, purely as a hobby. I did one trek after another, scaled it up, did even tougher treks, tougher trails, higher peaks. And that is when curiosity kicked in. The curiosity to know more about mountains. See, mountaineering is not just about taking your bag and climbing. No. It's about assessing the terrain, managing the risks, taking some very critical decisions at high altitude. It is a sport like any other and has to be learned. So I enrolled myself in a mountaineering institute. I do my advanced courses and everything, finished. And in 2016, I decided to climb more mountains. And from 2016 to 2022, 6 years, I kept climbing one mountain after another, and all ended up in failures. I didn't summit one mountain in 6 years. I would train, I would go back to mountain, I would fail, come back, train even harder, and again fail. But you see, somewhere in this process, these failures, they fueled my dreams. As I kept failing, my dreams kept getting bigger. And in 2002, finally, I took a leap of faith and I decided to climb one of the big mountains, Mount Kanchenjunga. Now, Kanchenjunga is the third highest mountain in the world and highest peak of India at 8,586 meters, and it's pretty challenging. See, any mountain that is above 8,000 meters lies in the death zone. And by death zone, we mean that our body is literally dying above that altitude. No matter what you do, you cannot stay there forever. Humans are not built to sustain that atmosphere. The oxygen drops to around 1/3 of what it is here, and with temperatures going down to minus 50, 60, wind speed of 80, 70, 100, it's really not the place humans can survive. But nevertheless, I decided to go for it. We start the climb, and I've trained hard for it. But the physical and mental turmoil or the toll that it extracted was nothing I had ever seen before. I struggled. Finally, I reached the top, I summit, and that was my first success. And this success was the result of me being relentless throughout the years. It was not some fancy success, it was basically me slogging through the years. But apart from the physical and mental aspect, there was an emotional turmoil that was attached to it. While we are going up, just 2 days back, one of our fellow Indian climbers had died on the same mountain, on the same route. And we all knew that we had to cross him when we were going up. But nothing prepares you for the shock of it. You see a dead body on your way. Like when I saw, I literally froze. I froze for a few seconds with all the questions, doubts popping up, my family, my life, all rushing through my brain. And I'm asking myself, what if this was me? But sometimes, we have to block everything and just keep moving. And that is what I did. But again, at that altitude, your brain is unable to process things very clearly. And a trauma like this, it haunts you when you come back to safety. That is when it haunts you and it stays with you forever. But I managed to go and come out of it. Because in mountains, no matter how much you train or how good you are, there is always an upper limit. There will always be some mountain that will challenge you, that will broke you. And we have to be wary of it, because ultimately we have to come back. Now this reminds me of another incident that happened on another mountain. And that mountain is Mount Annapurna. Annapurna is the most dangerous mountain on earth. It has a summit to death ratio of 32%. 32% by which I mean, if 100 people climb Annapurna and come back safely, there are 32 others who never come back. And this is pretty high. This is pretty high for any mountain whatsoever. And I not only decided to climb it, I attempted it without oxygen. At that time, not very sure what it meant. But I have a very strong willpower and I said, let's do it. This is Annapurna. Can you please shift the slide? Can you play it? Yeah. So this is the avalanche from Annapurna. So Annapurna is very deadly. That's my friend taking the actual video. I'm standing there with her. So I decided to climb this mountain without oxygen. And this is at 8091 meters, 10th highest mountain of the world. And with a very strong will determination, I reached 7,600 meters without oxygen. Now at that altitude, the brain is not functioning, absolutely not functioning. And my brain starts to tell me, Satya, you need to turn back, you need to go back, that's it. But again, call it my ego, or we mountaineers are tough people. We don't quit that easily. I just keep pushing. But there came a point where my body was actually shutting down. Movements became slower. I was not thinking clearly, not thinking straight at all. And that is when I decided, okay, let's go back. And this, I feel, was the most important and most difficult decisions I have taken in mountains. To step back. And that day, I learned something very clearly, that sometimes you have to step back in order to keep moving forward. There's a very thin line between confidence and overconfidence, between bravery and stupidity. And sometimes we have to accept it. Annapurna humbled me to my bones. And this lesson was very, very important and useful to me on the next mountain that I did was Everest, last year, 2024. Now, Everest is a beast altogether, with a height of altitude of 29,000 feet. 29,000 feet is the altitude at which a commercial airline flies. And Everest is a totally different game. And not only I decided to climb Everest, but I decided to climb Everest and Lhotse, and both of them twice in the same season. And the most exciting part was, no one has ever done it before. Now that got me fired up. That got me really excited. We planned this a year ahead, and I had 1 year to train, apart from the regular training that I always do. And I start my training. I start training like a madman. To bring it to context, I literally started training close to 6 hours per day. I will train, eat, sleep, that's it. And this reminded me of the year when I was preparing for IIT, because the emotions were very similar. This was the ultimate challenge. May 2024, we arrived at the base camp. The climb begins. We reached camp 1, camp 2, camp 3, camp 4, all good, no worries. Now at camp 4, that is the final push where we reach the summit. The final 900 meters to go, that's it. 30 minutes before starting, I feel sick in my stomach. And it's a clear indication of diarrhea. That is very strange because I rarely fall sick. And again, now there is a dilemma, whether to go up or to come down. This time I chose to go up. I blocked everything and I said, let's do it. I've trained enough. I put confidence in my training that my body is definitely ready, and I'll keep going. I started going up, and 9 hours later, I was standing on the top of the world. I come back, I rest for a night, and then I climb the Lhotse again, the center one. Now, you see, until we are going up, our brain is engaged. The brain is always strong. But in mountains, we say, going up is optional, coming down is mandatory. See, mountaineering probably is the only sport that doesn't give you the option of quitting. You cannot quit. You cannot say you have gone up, you have reached height, and you say, boss, I'm tired. No, you have to go down. You are sick, you are tired, you have broken a leg, whatever. You have to absolutely come down. You cannot stay on the top. That's not going to happen. And now, once I have reached my objective, I have submitted Everest and Lhotse once. Now the brain starts to falter. And the sickness kicks in. My acute dehydration, diarrhea, they start to trouble me now while on my descent. I struggle, come to camp 2. Objective is base camp, come all the way down. At camp 2, my body completely crashed. I'm not moving. That's it. I radio my situation to base camp. They say very casually, take a day off, Satya, you'll be fine. Come back next day. But there was no time because I have to come back and go up again. That is the entire objective. I wait 2 hours at base camp. Camp 2, sorry. I drink water, salt, sugar, Horlicks, anything that I could get my hands on. I drank everything for those 2 hours. Recovered quite well and started my journey down. At midnight, I reached base camp. In absolute pathetic condition. My climbing partner, my team was horrified seeing me. And everybody thought the project is over. We cannot go up in this condition. The original plan was to stay 24 hours at base camp, but it got extended by 2 days. So I rested 2 days at base camp to recover fully. And on 24th May, I again started going up towards Everest. And within 3 days, 3 glorious days, I had climbed Everest-Lhotse and I had come back to base camp. 72 hours. And this expedition, this entire world record, taught me one thing. It taught me the value of discipline. And I now truly believe that discipline beats everything. Not only the discipline through the expedition, no. It was my discipline throughout the last year where I trained that helped me finish it. But all through years in this entire journey of my life, I realized one thing, that the toughest barrier I've ever broken is not about self-belief or clearing IIT or climbing Everest or coming back from Annapurna, no. The toughest thing I have ever done in my life was to start. You see, most people, they don't fail because they are not capable. A lot of people are capable. But they overthink, they overanalyze, they make infinite contingencies, they search every possibility that could go wrong before starting, and they end up never starting at all. But you see, everything that you have dreamed of or you have ever wanted to do is on the other side of starting. You have to take that first step with shaking legs, mind full of doubts. You'll never have the answers. Things will never be perfect to start. So next time, whenever you think about anything to do in life, just start. And lastly, as I said before, a ship is safest in a harbor, but that is not what it's meant for. Thank you.